Come up with 2 on the bounce.
Thanks for that, Reece. You just spoiled the video. Morning, everyone, or afternoon. As Reece is in mid-conversation. How are we?
Not
Very
too
well,
bad.
how are you?
Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I am all right.
Oh, shit.
Although it's, I forgot it's Bank Holiday Friday, but to be honest, it makes no difference to me because I've not worked for 7 weeks. So it's made absolutely no difference to me. Someone said to me the other day, it's Bank Holiday Friday. I said, is it? No idea.
That's why I wasn't sure if we were doing sessions later, but I guess we are.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna put it out.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Cool.
whose topic do you want to do? So mine is the best 3 managers ever, and when I mean ever, I'm doing it on since I've been born.
Lifetime. Yeah. Okay.
Not as in since football was invented. I'm doing it since I've been watching football. Reece, what was your one again?
Mine was, if you could change one moment in football, what would it be?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And Elliot, what was yours?
And I'll go with what we were talking about yesterday. I'll go with the stadiums we'd like to visit.
Oh, that was it. That was a good one, actually. Excuse me. Who do you want to do first? I think they're all pretty decent.
Let's go in that order, shall we? Do you want to talk about we'll go managers first?
All right. Right.
Right.
It's pretty weird that I bought this last Sunday.
4-4-2.
All right. So I've gone with my 3 managers. I also broke it down to categories, which I forgot to actually write down what the categories were. A bit like yesterday's video, I broke it down to categories. I can't actually remember what they are though.
Let me guess. You've been to their house.
Elliot, mate, no one likes a smarty bum. Okay.
They don't pickpocket.
Don't go to Barcelona. Anyway, so I'll say my top 3 and then I'll explain why, and you'll probably disagree. Yeah. So number 1 is pretty obvious, Sir Alex Ferguson. Mm-hmm. There's no question. Yeah. And being a United fan and having the privilege to watch him for so many years and seeing his last game at Old Trafford. Number 2, you might be surprised. I've gone with Carlo Ancelotti. I've gone Ancelotti.
Yes, that's all right.
And number 3, Guardiola. So remember, I'm doing it on when I've watched football since ever I've watched football. I was tempted to obviously put Ollie in top 2, but maybe not just yet.
Not a chance.
Do you want me to explain why?
Yeah, go for it.
All right,
yeah, go for it, because I've got exactly the same as you.
Oh, nice.
Have you?
I've written down all 3 managers exactly the same.
Same order?
Not same order. I've done Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola, Ancelotti.
All right, so I've gone Sir Alex. But is there really any? Do we really need to talk about Sir Alex? Really?
No, I agree. He is number 1.
He is the best.
Mm-hmm. I'll just give you a few stats then. Why he's number 1, rather than an argument. So 38 trophies at Man United, including the famous treble. He's won the Premier League 3 times in a row, twice, which no other team or manager has done. No other team or manager has even done it once, let alone twice. The amount of teams that he's churned out, rebuilt teams, churned out, rebuilt again. I think by the maths, he's probably built 5 teams at Man United. And he knows when players are coming to an end because he gets rid of them. He was a savage, so he didn't care. It was always kind of the mentality of what was best for the club, not the player. Wasn't afraid to challenge players such as Beckham, Yapstam, Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, Keane. Sir Alex Ferguson, was the reason why Ronaldo is the player he is today. There's absolutely no question about that whatsoever. He's just a legend, isn't he? The fact that he stayed loyal to United for X amount of years, you cannot rival it. The first English team to win the treble. I think they were the first actual team to win the treble as well. I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty certain, but I'm not 100% sure. So I won't use that as an actual fact. And obviously, you can't forget what he did at Aberdeen as well. Obviously, I don't remember that because that was way before I was born. But I think he beat Real Madrid in a European Cup final with Aberdeen. I don't think it was the Champions League, but it was a European Cup final of some sort. I'm not sure. And he broke up the top 2 in Scotland with Rangers and Celtic. So I just think you can't really argue that, really, can you? Let's be honest.
He's a class manager.
Do we all agree that he's top?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shocked
There's
at it.
no other debate about it.
I'm absolutely shocked at it that you've gone for Ferguson number one.
No,
Well, there's no one else really,
I'm
is there?
fair. I ain't got no goggles on.
Like,
No, I think, well, in my obviously a bit shorter lifetime than yours, Jay, he's been the heart of every success. As you said, some of the teams he's built have been amazing. His press conferences are good, and
I'm just so pleased that I got the privilege to see his last game at Old Trafford when we won the
title. I
title.
remember just watching that and like the speech at the end and stuff. It just summed it up,
I went with my best mate, and we drank quite a bit before the game. And I remember he came out to Guard of Honour, and I cried. I actually cried. And I also remember
you didn't know where it was going to go from that point.
Especially David Moyes.
You thought it was Moisey.
That's another argument. Anyway, so yeah, and I remember taping that game, the whole game. Sky Sports did of Ferguson's last game, and I had it on my Skybox. You used to be able to put on there like keep. You press a button, it says keep on your recordings. I had it on there for 4 years. We got a new Skybox, and it got deleted. That's heartbroken. Heartbroken. I even wrote to Sky to ask them if they could send me a recording of that, and they haven't sent it on. Absolutely gutted that I had that on record and it went. Anyway, so he's number one. Right, Carlo Ancelotti's my number two. I've got so much respect for that man as a manager and a person. I think he's underrated as a manager in world football. I think he's so underrated, it's unreal. And I don't want to be horrible to Everton, but I think Everton's a far too small club for him.
I would agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I've been a massive fan of trying to get Ancelotti to United since Ferguson left. If you go through my old memories of timelines of Facebook statuses since Ferguson left, it will say, bring in Ancelotti, bring in Ancelotti, bring in Ancelotti. If Ollie wasn't there, I'd still be saying, bring in Ancelotti. The fact that he has won titles pretty much everywhere he's gone. I think he's won a title, obviously, in Italy, France with PSG, England with Chelsea. Where else has he gone? He didn't win La Liga.
No, he didn't, did he? No,
but he won La Decima with Real Madrid. He won the Champions League. He won the double at Chelsea, their first ever double, the FA Cup and Champions League, Premier League. Sorry, he's won the Champions League 3 times, more than for Sir Alex and Ancelotti, and Pep. I said this the other day about Mourinho and the fact that he's got a chip on his shoulder since he got sacked at Madrid because he was the one that was supposed to bring the La Decima to Real Madrid, but failed, and then Ancelotti did it in his first season. You ask any football fan, so I've got a die-hard Chelsea fan uncle. He's quite deluded in things he says. And I always say to him, what's your kind of view on Ancelotti? And he said he loves him. He should never have been sacked at Chelsea. Bizarre. God knows why he was sacked at Chelsea. Real Madrid fans still love him. I think he gets this... I think he also has this reputation of everywhere he goes, he leaves it in a good state. And also fans love him, whereas that's complete opposite to Jose, where he leaves it in a mess and fans kind of detest him a little bit. He doesn't pick out fights for players. I think I mentioned it the other day when we were talking about Ronaldo or Messi. You ask Ronaldo his views on Ancelotti, and it's always raving reviews, great reviews. He said, I think he said in an interview that, when Ancelotti was sacked, he was fuming at Real Madrid that he got sacked. I think if you asked a lot of United fans, would you want Ancelotti at United if Ollie wasn't there? I'd say 95% of them would probably say yes. I think he started the PSG revolution. Obviously, he was back to money at PSG, but he won their first title in God knows how many years. I think as well, he won the double at Real Madrid, being the Copa del Rey and the Champions League in his first season. I think if he, excuse me, I think if he's given money at Everton, I would be quite concerned about what he could potentially do. But then it's the case of, would a player pick Everton over City? That's the only thing I think that would go against Ancelotti.
Yeah.
I just think he's class. I just really like him. He comes across really good. So he seems quite funny. He seems quite... I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard one player come out and say they didn't like playing under him. Or I think he's got a good reputation for being a great man manager as well. So last night, when I was doing my research into this topic, I did a lot of watching of Ancelotti's videos at Madrid and other places. And he seems quite funny on the training pitch. So I think there was one goal where Ronaldo scored a free kick or something. I can't remember who Real Madrid were playing, and he did the whole C celebration. And Ancelotti took the mick out of him on the sideline and did that as well. And it just comes across as quite a bubbly character. I think his man management style is if you've got two ends of the spectrum, excellent and shite. I mean, not very good, not being very good. I mean, Shizzle, who we'll try and bleep that out. Then I think Ancelotti's at the top end and Jose's at the bottom end. I think Ancelotti's man management style is excellent. I think Everton are really lucky to have him. I mean, really lucky to have him.
Yeah, we are very, very lucky to have him.
And that's why I thought about this question to you, Elliot, as a Tottenham fan. Obviously, no, I'm not going to ask you about Declan Rice. But if you had the choice, and I want you to be 100% honest, right?
Yep.
In January, sorry, I'm just going to lift my window open a little bit. And I'm now going to turn my radio off. If you had the choice, and I want you to be honest, in January, was it January where Mourinho came in, or was it just before Christmas?
Just before, wasn't it? Just before Jan, I think.
So if you were given the option of Ancelotti or Everton, sorry, it's my radio. Ancelotti, turn off. Sorry, radio's not turning off. Come on.
A very planned video.
It's a blooper.
Copyright.
Yeah. There we go, it's off. If you had the choice between Ancelotti or Jose Mourinho at Tottenham from January, who would you pick?
I would still choose Mourinho.
Oh, come on.
I would.
Ancelotti.
But because you guys are, but Ancelotti's not in my top three.
Oh dear, come on.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of disagreeing then.
Yeah. So you would take Jose after his last two performances at his last two clubs, and the way he's fallen out with players compared to Ancelotti, the serial winner that gets overlooked so many times.
And Mourinho's a serial winner.
No, he would.
We know our two top three. What's your top three then, Elliot?
Hang on.
Okay.
Don't say it yet. Oh dear. I honestly believe that if I asked 100 Tottenham fans, and it's just my opinion, I think
they would say Ancelotti.
I think 90 of them would say Ancelotti.
I backed my manager at the time. If he wasn't in charge right now, my answer might be different. But as he is, until he does something wrong, then...
Oh, believe me, it's coming. He's already picked a fight with like half your squad, so it's coming. And like I said, I don't want to get into a Jose debate, but like I said, Ancelotti comes across as a more bubbly, happy personality, whereas Jose, and even you said this, Elliot, the other day, and even Johnny Cooper, who came on the other day, he came into Tottenham, he's smiling, and now he's just like, oh, it's miserable. And that, come on, we've probably all played under managers who are miserable, and it does affect you, I think. Like on the pitch, you look over your touchline and you see him being miserable, and you just think, oh, God. Like, come on, let's be honest.
I'm sticking by my decision.
Terrible. Absolutely
dreadful. That's poor from you.
Does any of you want to counter what I've said about Ancelotti? Because I could go on about Ancelotti and how much I love him. Because
I pretty much described it all, really.
Because I think the fact that he won La Decima in his first season compared to Jose, I think Jose's got a massive chip on his shoulder over that. And I think that the fact that Ancelotti's man management skills are far better than Jose's. I think tactically, Ancelotti gets underrated massively. I remember Ancelotti coming to United a few times when he had his AC Milan team. You two are probably way too young for this, but they'd always beat us with his AC Milan team. He'd had like Kaká and even Pirlo, and you just think, they were close games, but he'd always managed to successfully beat us, and you just think, and he'd how he lost that final against Liverpool in 2005. But then 2 years later he got his revenge and stuffed them in Athens, and I just think he's so underrated as a world manager, like in so many aspects. And I just think like he's gone to every big club pretty much. Oh, sorry, there was one I missed out where he won the league. He won the league with Bayern Munich as well in Germany. So he's pretty much been to every big club in every big country in Europe and won it. And you just think, well, where else can he go really and do it? Is my opinion.
Everton.
Yeah. Oh dear.
We're winning the league next season.
Well, I don't think he would have gone to Everton unless he's been told he could spend money. That's my view.
100. Yeah, I completely agree.
I think because maybe Ancelotti wasn't available at the time for Tottenham, because I think he was still at Napoli, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Napoli.
And I think there was I think he got sacked because he backed his players because they've got controversial owners. What I remember, they've got controversial owners, and they wanted the players to basically go on this retreat somewhere for a bonding session, and the players didn't want to. So Ancelotti backed the players, and then he got the sack. So that's just another example of him.
I remember it's like I think they just won. They beat someone in the Champions League or something.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
And then he got sacked like the day after or something.
Yeah, that was it. So again, that just shows his loyalty to his players, and that's why players love playing under him. And he's just a serial winner in the Champions League. He's just like, if ever you want a manager to win you a Champions League, you in the current market, you go and get Ancelotti or Zidane, obviously. And also, Zidane's won 3 Champions Leagues as well. You have to remember, Zidane was Ancelotti's assistant when he won the first Champions League with Real Madrid. When he won La Decima, and Bale was in the team. I don't know if you two remember that final. Zidane.
Bale scored that famous goal. Yeah.
No, they beat Atletico 4-1. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. It was the start of kind of like the Champions League winning stint of Real Madrid in the last X amount of years. Ancelotti won the first one, and Zidane was his assistant. So obviously Zidane's picked up something from working under Ancelotti. So I just think he's class. I would have him. If Ollie wasn't there, Ancelotti would be my next choice. You want to counter that, Elliot? Why he's not in your top 3?
No. But for me, I believe in my lifetime, he's been at a lot of big clubs, but he's not been there for a substantial amount of times, if I'm right in saying that.
I think the only one that he's been there for a long time is at AC Milan, but I think
which would have been my earlier days, I'll call it. I think.
Yeah, I think the problem is he's been sacked by a few clubs harshly, like Chelsea. You know what their policy is like.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, you know what their policy is like. It's harshly. I think he got sacked from Bayern Munich. God knows why, because he won the Bundesliga. So I think there's been a few clubs he's been sacked quite unfairly, but then you could probably say that about 10 other managers.
Yeah. So for me, he didn't make it in the top 3 because, as I say, he's kind of been in the role of being brought in mid-season to do a job, doing the job. Don't get me wrong, he's done the job, but then he's not carried it on. And
you could say the same about Jose.
We'll get onto that.
Well, you can't.
We'll get onto it.
Oh, if you've got Jose in your top 3, I'm going to have a field day.
Go on with your third one.
Reece,
Pep Guardiola.
Reece, hang on, Reece. Anything else, Reece, on Ancelotti, or you must be an Ancelotti lover?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a class manager, and like you said, he was sacked, say unfairly, at a couple clubs. And the fact that he's managing my team at the moment is just something that is just out of the blue. Like, you wouldn't expect it. Like, I agree with what you say. Like, he's a little bit too big for our club. Yes, in a way, but he'll spend quite a bit of money in the transfer market if that goes ahead. And I was watching something on Instagram last night about Ancelotti's first interview, and the interviewer asked why Everton, and his response was it was the only team he didn't beat in the whole of his time working in the Premier League beforehand.
That's
It's
why
not
he's gone
rubbish.
there.
It's for the money, yes, but he's also said that's why. So
you reckon that if Tottenham, Man United and Everton came available to him, he'd go to Everton?
New challenge.
Do you reckon he would? Honest answer.
No, it obviously
there
goes
we go. End of
the
discussion.
club with more history.
All right.
But we're still a shout. We've got more of a chance than what Tottenham would have had.
Oh, meow. Anyway,
I didn't know I was coming to a comedy show as well today, but we were early.
let's move on to Pep Guardiola then, because I don't want to. I'm cautious about time. So, how long do we have left? I can't actually see it.
20 minutes.
Oh, okay, so Pep, what can you say? Won everything where he's gone. Won the league everywhere he's gone. Started that Barcelona. I'm a massive admirer of how he plays. I think a lot of my coaching was based on his possession. When I started getting into coaching, I like attacking football. I like coaching teams in an attacking way. So I like keeping possession. I focus on a lot of passing, and just the way his team completely destroyed us in that 2011 final. As much as it was awful to watch and painful, you just have to stand and applaud it, because it was unreal. It was unreal. The only kind of negative I would say about him is, he was blessed with Messi at Barcelona, and maybe he's been found out a little bit by not having that Messi in a City or a Bayern Munich to not win the Champions League. I think the fact that he's not won the Champions League with another club or away from Barcelona with a Messi, I still think he's got a lot to prove in that sense. I think if he wins a Champions League with a team that's not got Messi in, then you could probably argue, alongside Ferguson, then he probably could be the greatest manager to live. It's not just the way he plays football. I think he's also influenced other managers with the way they play now. I think he's influenced people like me, like coaching-wise, as how I would play. So I think that has been a massive positive. He comes across as quite a good manager as well. I just think if you're, and again, Elliot, you might disagree, but if I had the choice to play under either Guardiola or Jose, it'd be Guardiola in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, to play under 100%.
There'd be no question about it. I think the guy is class. He just looks class as well, like the way he dresses. I know that's really bad to say, but he just oozes class. He's a bit like Ancelotti, just class. And just the way his team's set up and he plays, and he's just a serial winner, isn't he? And you can't, everywhere he's gone, he's won the league title pretty much every year. But for me, the only argument I would have is he's got to win a Champions League somewhere else. That would be my only argument. And I think he's got to, go to somewhere where the team isn't already full of stars. I think he's got to.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
I think some of his transfers you could potentially question, like John Stones at centre back. Oh no, I think his transfer dealings, I don't think get scrutinised as probably they should do, because the majority of the time he walks into teams with superstars, Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, already there. Bayern Munich, Lewandowski, Philipp Lahm. I can't think of anyone else at my City. You've got Aguero, Sterling.
De Bruyne was there before.
De Bruyne, yeah. So I think for him to really test himself and to prove that he is a top manager, not that he's not. I think he needs to go to a club that haven't got already top class signings, and then we'll see what he's like. I think a lot of United fans are angry at him because he always used to flirt with the idea of managing Man United, and that was one of the biggest mistakes that we made, was not get Guardiola after Ferguson, because in Sir Alex Ferguson's. No, sorry, it wasn't Sir Alex Ferguson's book. It was Pep Guardiola's first book that he wrote. He wrote in 2014. It was way before he went to City. That him and Ferguson are quite close. And after the 2011 final and the 2009 final, they would share a drink after. And I don't know if you two remember, but Guardiola had a sabbatical. Do you know what? I'm sure you know what sabbatical means, where he didn't work for like a year, and he lived in New York. And Ferguson would regularly go and visit him, and they'd go and have like meals out and stuff. And Ferguson actually invited. He wrote this in his book, and Ferguson invited Guardiola to an Old Trafford Man United board meeting. So Guardiola went, and he sat there as a guest in the board meeting with Ferguson. And in his book, he wrote that he loved the club, and he looked around. He was like looking around the club, and that he saw it as a traditional club, well run, with history, and he could see himself managing there one day. And I think a lot of Man United fans think to themselves, "Why would you write that, but then go to City?" I think a lot of United fans are kind of quite angry at Guardiola for kind of flirting with the idea, but then not going it. But then it is a two-way thing. United should have went and got him. That was ridiculous. So I think a lot of United fans are quite angry towards Guardiola in that sense. So yeah. All right. Any of you two want to make any statements on Guardiola or arguments or anything?
No, I think you covered it. For me, he's number two in my three. I agree with you. He's inherited always world-class teams or near enough, like title-winning teams. But again, you got to do it, and he delivers most of the time. It's been amazing, I think, having him in the Prem now. He's kind of changed a lot of the philosophies, I think, of the big clubs. And yeah, I agree with you. Just watching him on the sideline, he's always so animated, but like, you know, he doesn't rock up in a tracksuit. You know, he's there. You can see his passion for. It's like people say they play the game on the touchline kind of thing, and I think that's what I like about him.
Yeah. Not Elliot, Reece.
Well, you've pretty much covered it all, really. Like, he's a class manager. He likes playing good counter-attacking football, and like Elliot said, he's changed the whole way other big teams of play. Every team now wants to play fast counter-attacking football.
Well, it's a good job that Ollie's beaten him 3 times. Only the second manager to do it in a season. Boom.
That's true.
Both of you speechless. I like it. All right. I think we can agree on Guardiola then, yes?
Yeah.
Hey, are you talking to your mummy? Are you talking to your mummy? Oh. All right.
No, it's my old man, actually.
Oh. Okay, so we agree on Guardiola, and we all agree that he probably should go to a club that doesn't have superstars, and we all agree that he probably needs to win a Champions League somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think now at City especially, I think obviously they've won the Prem and they want to keep winning it, but for City, I think that's the next.
Yeah.
I mean, there was talk that if he doesn't deliver it this year, he might leave, but
no, obviously
we'll see.
Well, I mean, they might have the ban that might go through.
Let's hope so. Right, we've only got under 10 minutes. Got under 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll speak to you, man.
We want to wrap up this topic real quick. So, Reece, go through your top. You're the same, aren't
you? Yeah, I'm the same as you. So, Sir Alex Ferguson, there's no question about it, really.
Yeah.
He's just a class manager. End of discussion, really, for that. But number 2, Pep Guardiola. This was probably my hardest decision. It was between him and Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, no.
And there is a reason why I have gone for Jurgen Klopp, because his first game of the season, or the first game he played for or managed for Liverpool, he had such a weak team, and the fact that he's rebuilt it, and now they're probably one of the best teams in the world at the moment.
I get that.
Currently.
I get that.
But yes, it has taken him 5 years, which is the reason why I've gone for Pep, because it's taken him quite some time to deliver. I've decided that, like, Pep Guardiola, yes, he is blessed with the best players in the league, at the time. So like your Messi's, Iniesta's, Aguero's, Lewandowski's, etc., etc. But it's the way he plays it, pretty much. It's his tactics and everything. Because I don't know whether you lot have watched any of the All or Nothing series.
Yeah.
On Prime. It went
Yes.
deep into like, yeah, no, I'm just discussing it, Jamie. Don't worry.
You're talking
He
slow.
goes,
We've only got 8 minutes.
all right. He goes deep into like everything, like how he worked it out, how they want to play against this sort of team, how they want to work out, how they want to tie the defence, how they're going to attack, set plays, etc., etc., etc. And that's when we go into that deeper context and like work out how to break down teams differently without them researching and actually knowing, right, they just like doing counter-attacking, etc. I just personally think that Pep Guardiola can break down teams in many different ways than what any other manager can do. So that's why I've gone with Guardiola second, and the third I've gone Ancelotti, mainly because he's a class manager. Yes, he has been unfairly treated at a couple clubs, but he's an underrated manager, like you said, Jamie. But apart from that, like he has good players in and around him that he can do, and yeah, he's got a new challenge at Everton, trying to get us into Europe, whether that would be Europa League or Champions League. But in the next couple of seasons, I believe he can do it, and that's why I've gone with Ancelotti, because I back my manager.
Fair enough.
For that. Elliot, you might just have to tell us your
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Due to
You're going to completely disagree because you already know I'm going to put there. I completely understand Ancelotti, but as I said to you earlier, for me, Reece, you put him in there because he's your manager, which I completely is absolutely fine by me.
Yeah.
Jamie, I know you've not put Jose in there because he left us staying at your club, and you're not very happy about him.
Not just my club.
Hang on.
Even Reece agrees.
And as I said, in my lifetime, Ancelotti's been a man who's gone in, finished off a job, but then hasn't. I get they might have been unfairly treated at some places, but for me, he had, like, during my lifetime, he's not been someone which has been like, I like the way he plays. I haven't seen enough of him, kind of, I guess, part of it as well. But yeah, for me, so it goes Sir Alex at number 1, Pep at number 2, as we've already said, and then Jose does go at number 3. You can laugh and disagree all you want, but I don't think you can take away that he is a serial winner. He's done it at Porto, where it all started, which is like unbelievable. It's an unbelievable story. He goes everywhere, wins stuff, stains or no stains. I don't care. Like, even not as a Spurs fan, I don't think you can not look at his record as a manager and say he's not one of the best. Done and dusted. There's your argument. Sorted. You can finish the video now.
I think I'd agree with you to a point on Jose, but I'd replace a few words. Not is a serial winner, was a serial winner.
No, he is a serial. You never lose it.
Well, we'll see next season.
Top 5, I would have put him 5th.
I potentially would have put him 5th, but I would.
No way.
I think he was a serial winner. I think his tactics are now prehistoric.
No. All right, then Sir Alex Ferguson was a serial winner.
No, he wasn't, because he won the title in his last season.
Yeah, but he's not managing now, so he was. So right. I mean, talking about past tense.
No, but
once you've got something like that, I don't think you lose it.
Yeah, but you're right. He was a manager, but at the time, his tactics were good enough to win the league.
And as I've said to you, I think he is a little bit outdated. I agree with that, but you look at his record and he wins.
Yeah, he wins.
Before he came in, everyone at Spurs, right? Everyone who wasn't a Spurs fan would say, where's your trophy? Show us your trophy cabinet. If there's one man who you think would do that,
it'd be Ancelotti.
The appointment for me makes perfect sense, and that is it.
I think you're mad if you want Mourinho. Just by the fact that he picks fights with everyone, he doesn't look happy now. He leaves a stain. It's just not worth the hassle. I could have probably.
But that's because I think if you hadn't have had him as a manager, right, and you were looking as neutral as I am right now, then you would agree with me. His record is something else.
I would still say the same as in neutral, because I still think ever since Real Madrid he's had a chip on his shoulder, and even Johnny Cooper said now when we had him on that even he thinks he's miserable, etc., etc. I'm going to record this, and then in a year's time I'm going to ask you about Jose, because I honestly believe your view will change in 1 year's time when he's left the club. Players have left because they don't want to play under him, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a title in a year, but that's fine. You can do that if you want.
Don't expect it in 2 years because you'd have fallen out with the board by then. All right. What we'll do is we'll continue this argument with Jose or your other managers in the next video.
I've got nothing else to say. I'm happy with my 3. We can move on to the next topic.
Me and Reese have got plenty to say about Jose.
That's cool. I'll turn the volume down for a little bit. I've heard it all for the last 2 weeks.
Honestly. Yeah, dearie me. All right. Well, we'll carry on the manager debate in the next video, okay? Because we're running out of time.
All right, cool.
Cool.
All right. Take care.
Adios.
Bye-bye.